I had it all. The life many dream of, the power, the influence, the wealth. I was a pastor blessed beyond measure. Houses, cars, and multiple churches under my leadership. My name carried weight. My words moved people. A beautiful wife stood by my side, and our two children were our joy. What started as a journey of faith soon turned into an empire. But it wasn't enough. It was never enough. As a child, I had always dreamed of owning a farm. The idea of vast land, open skies, and the quiet whispers of nature had always called to me. Even as my ministry grew and my riches multiplied, that longing never faded. And when I heard of a farm in another country being sold by a wealthy Nigerian man, I knew this was my chance. Everything about him screamed success. He was dripping in wealth, his presence alone exuding power. When I met him, he told me he was selling the farm to escape bad memories, that he wanted a fresh start elsewhere. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? But what he told me wasn't the whole truth. Something lingered beneath his words, something unspoken, something dark. Blinded by my desires, I sold several of my houses to buy the farm, despite my wife's protests. She didn't understand. She called it an obsession. I called it destiny. Against her wishes, we packed up our lives and moved there. I thought it would be peaceful, a place where I could connect with my maker, where I could find clarity and purpose. I thought wrong. The first few nights were eerily silent. But then the screams started. Long, agonizing cries that echoed through the night. At first, I told myself it was the wind, the creaking of the old farmhouse, my mind playing tricks on me. But then I started seeing them, visions of people drowning, their faces contorted in terror, their arms reaching out for salvation. It felt too real. It felt like a warning. I did what I knew best. I prayed. I rebuked. I fasted. I called upon the heavens. But the visions didn't stop. Then came the fights. My wife and I, once inseparable, became strangers overnight. Small disagreements turned into explosive arguments. The love that once bound us started unraveling before my eyes. I didn't understand why. It was as if something was poisoning us, twisting our words, clouding our hearts. Then the unthinkable happened. It was supposed to be a simple drive. My wife and kids were heading into town. I stayed behind at the farm, consumed with my work, with my endless prayers for answers. Hours passed. Then the call came. An accident. The car had been tampered with. My entire world collapsed in an instant. My wife, my children, gone. I refused to believe it. This had to be a mistake. But the grief was real, suffocating, unrelenting. The whispers in the night grew louder. The screams became unbearable. And yet, the farm thrived. Crops flourished without my hands tending to them. Tasks were completed as if by unseen forces. Something was still there, lurking, watching. It followed me. Even when I left for my other properties, I couldn't escape it. At night, I'd wake up gasping for air, an unseen weight pressing down on my chest. Shadows danced at the corners of my vision, swallowing me whole in my dreams. I tried to find the man who sold me the farm, but he had vanished. No trace of him remained. It was as if he had never existed. And now, I stand at the precipice of my own destruction. My faith is shaken. My soul is tormented. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fight what I cannot see. I cry out to God, but the silence is deafening. If anyone hears this, if anyone can help me, please. I fear I have sealed my fate. I fear it is too late. God, have mercy on me. And my ministry suffered. It was like I wasn't myself. I'd forget scriptures, even my favorite ones. Sometimes, I'd forget what I was praying for, or even what I was saying in a prayer. That hurt my ministry deeply. Everything started going sideways. The sermons that once moved crowds now felt empty. The fire that once burned in me had dimmed. My congregation could see it. They whispered, they doubted. My churches, my followers, they started slipping away, just like everything else in my life. I was unraveling, losing the very thing that once defined me. I was no longer the man I used to be, and I feared I never would be again. Days turned into nights, and the terror never ceased. The shadows stretched longer, whispering my name. I would hear footsteps echoing in the halls of the farmhouse, but when I turned, no one was there. My reflection in the mirror seemed unfamiliar, as if something else lurked behind my eyes. My prayers felt empty, my cries unheard. I no longer had the strength to fight whatever had latched onto my soul. One night, I woke up gasping, unable to move. A weight crushed my chest, a suffocating presence holding me down. The air turned ice cold, and then I saw it, an outline shifting in the darkness, looming over me. Its breath was hot against my skin, though I felt no body, no form. A deep voice, guttural and ancient, whispered in a language I did not understand. And then it laughed. A sound so hollow, so filled with malice, it made my blood freeze. I tried to run. I tried to leave the farm, to abandon everything, but something held me there. I would pack my bags, only to find myself sitting back in the same chair, staring at the same cursed walls. My thoughts weren't my own anymore. My mind played tricks on me, memories distorted and fractured. Was I going mad? Had I already gone mad? I sought help. I traveled to pastors, prophets, anyone who would listen. They prayed over me, anointed me with oil, rebuked the darkness in the name of God. But nothing changed. Some would shake their heads, unwilling to speak of what they saw in my presence. Others refused to even set foot on the farm. And slowly my hope dwindled. I began to wonder if I had been forsaken. The nights are getting longer. The whispers are getting louder. I fear I am being watched, not just by something unseen, but by the echoes of my own sins. The greed that brought me here, the arrogance that blinded me, it all led to this moment. And now, I wonder if I was ever meant to escape. In the end, I chose to sell the farm. It was not an easy decision, but I knew I had to let go. The man who bought it reminded me of myself, a man with a family, ambitious, eager. He saw what I saw once, an opportunity, a dream. And just like that, it was as if the farm chose him, as if it had been waiting. I don't know what will happen to him, and I don't want to know. I walked away, but I know I will never truly be free. If you're listening, if you're reading this, know this. I was once a man of faith. I was once a shepherd, but now I am lost, trapped in a nightmare of my own making. And I don't know if I will ever wake up. God, if you still hear me, please help me.